We are 20 weeks today. Halfway.
Wait, today?
Yes. Well, not today, but like this week we're 20 weeks. Why are you getting so excited?
Well, because I didn't realize it was today.
No.
But turns out it's not today.
But we're 20 weeks along on our journey. So excited. I really can't believe that this is my second surrogacy journey. Like my second time carrying a baby for someone, a baby that's not mine, and helping someone else become a mom. Like it just touches me every single day. And the more I think about it, I'm just gonna cry. But we wanted to share a little heart to heart with you today. As you guys know, we are going through the surrogacy journey with Your Fertility Advocate. So they are our surrogacy agency. I met Megan, oh my gosh, 2 years ago now. And when I was in my last surrogacy journey, and she was just sharing her heart, and we got to talking about how one day she wanted to do a pro bono journey in a sense and waive their agency fee for a set of intended parents, because when intended parents go through an agency, they pay a fee up front that allows the agency to help them throughout the surrogacy process. So managing the journey, contacting fertility clinics, sending emails, checking in on your surrogate, and so much more, that fee helps them do that, but it is a cost to the intended parents. And so she just shared her heart behind wanting to do this blessed with a baby pro bono journey, and kind of asked us if we would want to be on board with that, and we were like, absolutely. And so she helped us match with Kenzy and Jake. She helped us filter all the matches. As you guys know, when I finished my first surrogacy journey and we were looking to rematch, we got flooded with comments and messages about like people wanting to match with us. It was kind of exciting.
It was really exciting, and like reading through each one and hearing all of the different stories, it was difficult because it's like we want to help as many people as possible.
And it's hard to just pick like just one person, because everyone is deserving of becoming a parent and having and holding their child that they've dreamed and tried for years to have. And it put a lot of weight on me or us to make that decision ourselves. Like, out of all these people, you're the one we get to pick. Like, it was really hard for us. And so in talking with Megan, we decided she put together an application for us, and just with some of the desires we're looking for in a set of intended parents, and she helped us filter those matches. And through the process of like 4 months, we had like hundreds of applications come in. She filtered them down to like 30 or 40 that she sent to us.
But it was like every night that we were
so every night we were reading multiple.
Reading people's stories, creeping on their Facebook and Instagram.
So if that was one of you that sent, thank you so much for just sharing your story with us, sharing your heart. And there were about 3 couples that we were like, any of these would be good. But ultimately our hearts were just with Jake and Kenzy, and you know, here we are now in the middle of a journey. But we were just so thankful for Megan's heart of waiving that fee for them. As a young couple starting their family for the first time, that's a huge deal. Anyone on an IVF journey knows the financial side of it is a lot. Coming up with funds to possibly bring a child into this world is a lot to carry. And so we were so thankful for that. And throughout the start of our journey and the process of attorneys and contracts and all these different steps, there have been a few other people who have come forward and helped kind of lessen that burden of financial hardship with the journey for Jake and Kenzy. So we just want to give them a shout out. Seed Trust Escrow Company, which is our escrow company, they waived their fee completely. So as an escrow company, they're like amazing because they hold the funds for the intended parents. So as a surrogate, I don't have to like go to Jake and Kenzy and say, hey, I have this bill that needs to be reimbursed. Can you send me the money? You don't want to have those awkward conversations. No. Like, you want to just enjoy the journey together. So they help with all the reimbursements, prescription copays, medical premiums, everything like that. They handle the money and the communication. Travel, like anything money related with a journey, an escrow company should take care of that. And so they have done an amazing job. They're such great at like communication. If I have a question, they're quick to answer it. And so Seed Trust has been amazing. So we just wanted to thank them publicly. Also, our attorney Karen Rosenberg from Krigel and Krigel Law Offices, she discounted her rate. She has now been our attorney 3 times. Because she started, So she's been our surrogacy attorney 3 times here in Missouri, and she's so sweet, and it's been fun just to like go through these journeys with her and her just like learn about our heart behind surrogacy and doing this. So I want to thank her. And then Kenzy and Jake's attorney, Johnny Franklin at Franklin Law Firm, she discounted her rate as well. And so with all of these people, just like hearing Jake and Kenzy's story and wanting to, you know, again, just lessen that burden financially and be a blessing to them and bless them with baby. It just got Dan and I talking to see like how we could help or kind of what we could do on this pro bono journey as well.
Yeah, and in talking with Megan, it wasn't something that she was like, hey, I expect you guys to do this. Yeah. She's like, come up with a number that makes sense as far as compensation goes. She's like, I'm not asking you to do this for free.
Yeah.
She's like, we do have a lot of people who are hopping on board to make this as burden-free, I guess, as possible.
Yeah.
And honestly, we didn't really talk about it a whole lot immediately.
No.
In fact, I feel like early on, I had an idea of what I wanted to do.
You didn't say anything to me?
No, but you also had an idea of what you wanted to do, and you didn't say anything to me.
That's true.
And so we just kind of let it ride for a long time, actually.
Yeah. Until, we'll just show you some clips.
Okay, so for the last several weeks, I have been thinking about, so last journey we were compensated with a base compensation amount. It's standard for surrogates to be compensated for what they're doing. And there's a general range of compensation that you give, whether this is a surrogate for the first time or they're experienced and they've done this again. And so we were talking with our agency about kind of what that range would be, and we never felt like we wanted to name an amount and say this is the amount we request or require for us to be a surrogate for someone.
Here's the deal. This is the first hiccup in this journey because we always said we would let the intended parents set the price.
Yeah.
And we would say yes no matter what.
Yeah. And that's what they did. They
came back with a price, but we would like to change it, and we'd just like to not be compensated at all.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but
this just like, hey, this is sincerely about helping them bring a baby into this world. It is not for the money, although there's a lot of talk about that right now. It's literally not about the money for us.
And I think that is another reason that's leading us to this conclusion and decision, because we've done a journey that's been compensated, and I, in a sense, want to do a journey that's uncompensated so that we can speak from both sides. We can speak from a place of being compensated as surrogates or as a surrogate, but we can also speak from a place of having zero compensation, and does it really make a difference in a journey, and does it really make a difference to the desire to be a surrogate and to go through this journey? But then also, like, I don't know, it's just something we've been thinking about and we feel a peace about. And
you seem so gloomy.
It's a serious thing to talk about. It's a big deal. I mean, that's a lot of money, especially for someone they're wanting a baby at the end of it, and it's a lot of money for a baby. I don't know.
You just seem kind of gloomy. Like, this is exciting.
It is. It's really exciting.
It's like, you get a car. Except it's just you two get a baby.
And you have to pay a little less for the baby, so it's a good thing, right?
No, it really is. I mean, that's a question that we get all the time. It's like, is it hard giving up the baby?
Yeah.
And how much do you make?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want it to be about that at all.
Yeah.
Like, we can still talk and educate people. Like, there's a standard compensation package that this is the range that it falls into, but we chose to not make it about the money.
Yeah.
And to show that, it's not that we have to prove anything to anybody, but we don't want it to be called into question that we're doing this for the money, because that's never been what it's about for us.
Yeah, I agree. And being able to come from that place and actually speak from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I may tell him he's got to take me on a fishing trip or something.
He'd be like, absolutely.
Absolutely. Put that money towards a new gun for you.
That's funny. But anyways, we just wanted to document it because it's part of the process. It's part of some major decisions that you encounter with surrogacy and with the journey. And we just want to be able to look back at this one day and, see where our thought and our heart was at the beginning of making this decision and kind of where it leads. So
I got another idea.
What?
Let's do like a baby drive or like a diaper drive or something for them.
Oh, I will.
And then we just how we keep talking about Goodwill and Amazon addictions?
Yeah.
We're just gonna boom, just Amazon is just they're just gonna leave the whole trailer there for them to unload it.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh my gosh,
Crib, stroller, wagon.
I'm gonna do a
Paw Patrol,
baby registry for her and diaper drive and just so much. Well, because you guys are so sweet and so supportive live through all of our journeys or through all of our helping those in need and just sharing different needs in our heart. And we're thankful that you entrust us with your gifts of like our friend Laura, whose husband passed away and she was expecting a baby. You guys gave so much and blessed her, and we went to Fort Myers to help with hurricane relief, like different things and different needs that are there. There's so many needs in this world, but we would love to bless someone else, like another couple and another person. So
let's do it. I'm excited. I kind of don't want to tell them and they just find out on the YouTube video.
We have to tell them though, and that's why we have this conversation now. We have to tell them because
we're going to
contracts. Because we have contracts, and before we get to contracts, like we need to make that decision because it needs to be like lined out appropriately. So anyways, we just want to document, and we'll let you know how it goes.
Are we about to present this at lunch?
Do you want to?
Yep. Can I do it?
Yeah. Okay.
So as you can see from the clip, Sam and I decided, and we both had that in our hearts early on without sharing it with one another.
I don't know why.
But like in the moment, like there is a time when contracts need to be signed and this information needs to be in the contracts. And so we sat down with Jake and Kenzy and we let them know, like throughout every journey we've been a part of, our desire was never to make it about money.
Yeah.
And
we never wanted to mention a price. We always let the intended parents decide, like, hey, this is a range of what's typical, like whatever you feel comfortable compensating for a journey, like we're happy with it.
Yeah, and we decided that early on, like we're never gonna say no to a number. Like no matter what they come back with, we're gonna say yes. And we broke that rule on this journey because they came back with a number and we're like, no.
Actually, no.
Actually, we don't want anything.
Yeah.
And so we just feel like at this point in our lives, over the past couple of years, we've seen the Lord's provision, His blessing, His favor in our lives, and with everything, with all of our resources, with your body.
My uterus.
Rent free. We just always wanted to be a blessing and pass that on, be vessels for God to use us however He could.
Yeah, and it's definitely not saying that surrogates, that they don't deserve their compensation that they're given, because 100%, Dan can attest for this, what my body has gone through the past 4 years has been some of the hardest times that we've ever walked through as a couple, that I've ever walked through. The shots, the medication, which was my least favorite thing, the morning sickness, which I didn't have with my own children.
Hold on, how many shots are you at now?
70 plus 56.
126.
The transfer process, the delivery, the postpartum, the healing, like every step of the process, even contracts, Lord help me. A surrogate's compensation is justified for everything we go through. And it's a year plus sometimes. Sometimes it's a year and a half or 2 years, depending on how long matching takes, if there's multiple transfers, or God forbid a miscarriage. There's so many steps in the process that the compensation as a whole is just, it's a way to take off some of that weight and that you're carrying by going through all of the emotions and physically, mentally walking through a journey. So a surrogate getting compensated is totally valid. But I also wanted to, in sharing our heart behind the decision to not be compensated, I wanted to share just a different perspective, because I get tons of emails and messages, like as someone's going through their own journey and they're like, hey, I'm, matching with a friend or a family member and they are only able to compensate me this amount. Do you think with only that amount, do you think it's still worth it for me in a journey? And I want to say it is, because no matter what amount you're getting compensated, you are helping a couple have a baby and bring their child into this world. And that alone is worth it to me. Now, I know tons of people who are surrogates who go through it, and maybe they're single moms, or maybe they take their compensation as a blessing to them to save for their children for college, or put a down payment on a house, or buy a car that they need, and that's still justified, whatever they want to spend their money on, and that's still good for them to do. But I don't ever want someone to think that just because you get a less compensation, it's not worth it to still be a surrogate and to go on this journey.
Yeah, and I feel like it's with anything. Each person is in a different stage of life, in a different place, in a different location, where the cost of living might be higher or lower, and $5 to one person might not mean the same as $5 to the other. And so for each individual surrogate, they have to find out what is right for them and what makes sense. And in that process of going through contracts and setting the terms and setting the compensation amount, they have to be at peace with that, because you don't want to be carrying that burden around if you're taking less than what you feel is right.
Yeah.
Or if you're taking way more than what you think is right, you know? So if you feel a peace about moving forward, if you are a surrogate, if you are an intended parent, you really have to come to terms with that yourself. Settle on a number that makes sense for both of you.
Yeah, definitely. And like Dan said, different regions or different amounts are requested, or if a surrogate's done this multiple times, she knows what is required of her body, and she knows that she has to take time off work. She's going to miss out on time with her kids and her family, and so she may request a higher amount, and she is deserving of every penny she's compensated because of everything she's going through. But we just wanted to share again that no matter the amount that you are compensated as a surrogate, it is worth it, and what you're doing is worth it, and what you're doing is making a difference. And so yeah, we're super thankful to be a part of this pro bono journey that your fertility advocate had the desire to do. I know Jake and Kenzy are so thankful every step of the way. They've just expressed their gratitude to us, to your fertility advocate, to the attorneys, to everyone involved, and I know they're so grateful and so excited to welcome their little baby into this world.
So you're giving like big shout outs to a ton of people, but there's a lot of people watching this, and a lot of companies that have donated like toys
Baby
and
toys.
things for the nursery, and even all of the followers and listeners and the people watching this that have been praying and sending their wishes and
cheering us on during
encouragement
betas.
in the comments and messages. And so that all means the world, not only to Jake and Kenzy, but also to us, because having our lives public, we get
It's
a lot
hard.
of terrible messages. We get a lot of totally ignorant messages, but we do get a lot of encouraging messages, and that really helps us throughout the process to know that there's other people out there that are getting excited, that are actually pursuing surrogacy for themselves.
Yeah, and sharing the journey with you guys, and I know Kenzy loves it as well. Like, you guys get to feel like you're part of this story and this journey too, and so we'll continue, obviously, to share how the journey continues to go and how we can all continue to love on Jake and Kenzy and be a blessing to them. Love you guys.